morning, everybody. A lot of you are like, what the hell's that? And a lot of you are like, wow, cool. So I bought it. Let me tell you about adulting. And a lot of you know where I'm going to be coming from. I have a friend who was like, I can't believe I'm excited over buying a new oven. And I'm like, a new oven? That's amazing. So I bought a new cat water source. This is the old one, Pioneer Pet. The motor still worked just fine. The problem was this clamshell. This is the second clamshell I've bought for this particular machine. In the past, well, it's been like 2 or 3. No, I've had this. No, I had a porcelain version of this at the old house. Bought this for the new house. It's probably about 3 years old now. The clamshell, the feet have these stickies on the bottom of it, or these suction cups. Well, the suction cups have become incredibly hard over the course of maybe 8-9 months. And the old one did this as well. I'm pretty sure it might be the filtered water. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is sucking the elasticity out of these rubber feet because they don't suction anymore. I mean, even if this were wet, I mean, even if it were dry, if these had any way of suctioning, they should be suctioning, and they're not. So, and it started to buzz really bad because the motor sits in here, and of course the motor is moving. Well, I mean, it's vibrating. And because it's not suctioned down and held down by the bottom of the base and these suction cups, it's just buzzing and vibrating. And all it takes is 2 drinks out of this and it starts buzzing again. So I have washed it and taken it apart. It's still in decent shape. Like I said, the only problem is this fail point right here, this clamshell bottom feet. And that is unfortunate because it was fine. So I bought a new one. Star wipe. And here it is. It's got a little LED and it shows you the water level inside. It holds more water, I think. But it comes down as a little faucet. And it's just the sound of the water. You can have it either as the faucet or you can have it bubble up. I may try the bubbling up feature in the future. It seems like they're drinking out of it. I would hope so. It's been here for a good 2 days now. But yeah, look at the little blue LED. Isn't that great? If you're an adult, that's amazing. Star wipe. I figured we'd start out with that this morning and then kind of go from there. All right, we're cleaned up. No more cat things. That's a lie. There'll always be cat things. But I want to do some of the Mount Haraz coffee this morning. This stuff always smelled really nice. And it still smells really nice. And what's really nice about them is also they do a roasted on and fresh buy. So we're doing pretty good here, I think. Smaller bean size than some of the things I've got up there. Has something to do with their growing process. But this is Yemeni coffee. "45-day sun-dried." Smells so nice. And it brews up really well. Oh no, escape! I'll find it later because I'll vacuum anyway. All right, so let's... I can probably take this up a little bit higher. This is a smaller bean. Oh, we're doing this a little backwards. We'll do 30 grams in here. 2 more beans, please. 3 more beans. It's always too much or too little. It's never exactly where you want it to be. All right. That worked, didn't it? I think the peak of the day is going to be the cat bowl. It's just a nice, what's the word? Mellow. It's such a nice, mellow smell coming off of the coffee. Uh-oh, a lady has appeared. Hello. So we'll grind this up. I got the water boiling and we'll go from there. A lot less popcorning with the smaller beans, which is really nice. Beautifully processed smell. Aged for 45 days or dried for 45 days? Is that what it says? I think it said that. Dried for 45, sun-dried for 45 days. Yep, it's the region of Yemen. There's your location. Yeah. Thank you, Anwar. And I did it again. Oh well, it'll be fine. Okay, so that's all set and ready to go. That's getting hotter by the second because that's how thermodynamics works. I got cookies here from Bell's Bakery, or Bell's Bread. That was Bell's Bakery. So these are almond cookies. And then this is a fun thing. This is called a melon roll. It's actually dough and then cookie dough shaped into a melon-like roll. Melon roll. And then it's got a really fun texture and it tastes amazing. So we'll pick which one of those we'll have with our coffee. I really don't have much going on. I saw The Nun last week. That was The Nun 2. Matt and then my best friend Johnny and then another dear friend Mike went to see The Nun when it first came out several years ago. Based off the Conjuring franchise, I believe The Nun was actually featured in like the second or third one. The whole nun thing is incredibly convoluted. It just is. I mean, it's like, you see, I don't know. I hate to spoiler it because I know y'all are going to want to go out and watch it immediately. But it's really not great. The first movie is shot incredibly well. The scenes are beautiful. The scenery is amazing. The cinematography is brilliant, I think. The writing and the direction were horrible. Hilariously horrible. Funny, horrible movie. The Nun 2, it wasn't nearly as much fun. It was dark, it was muddy. Even the day shots seemed overcast and grainy. The acting was the exact same as from the first one, which means, you know, and the dialogue and the writing and the direction. You were made to believe that there was only one teacher in this giant school. One giant teacher and one headmistress, or one giant teacher. Yeah, one giant teacher. One teacher and a headmistress in this school for what appears to be for girls. And this is The Nun 2. The first Nun movie is actually has a neat story progression. Even though it's written poorly, it does do very well with that. I mean, none of it's believable. None of it is believable. It follows a more logical progression and seems more grounded, whereas the second one here was just a bunch of overblown. I mean, it was just overblown. It was just not, it wasn't as much fun. And that was really a bummer because a bunch of us went and to see this, and it's like, it was just not as much fun. And that was so terrible. I was so unfortunate. And like I said, I don't like to spoil things, you know. I mean, maybe you do want to go see this movie. I don't know why. If you want to see it, you've already seen it, I would assume. The theater was not packed when we saw it opening evening. So yeah, the theater wasn't packed. I don't know. The first Nun movie's better. Doesn't mean that it's great, but in there and get it nice and wetted. Give it about 30 seconds to see what happens here. And then over the weekend, not much happened at all. First OSU football game, which I'm not really, Matt's into football. I am not into football. Not into football at all. Definitely. A band geek. I'm a band geek. So I went to football games to play music. You know, that was the only reason I went to football games. At one point I wanted to play football. I vaguely remember that, and then Mom said no, so I'm like, oh, okay. You know, I'm probably better off for it, I would say. Then we're gonna do about 250. And we'll do 230, close enough. And then we'll let it drain for a minute. Well, as a minute, I mean 30 seconds. So half a minute. And then we'll put in We'll put it around 400 and we'll let it drain through. It's a lovely smell. It's a lovely smelling coffee. Yeah, I know. I wanted to play, I think I did want to play football. I vaguely have a memory of where I wanted to play football, and it just didn't happen. And I think I'm better off. I'm already broken enough after playing, in the band and then living the life I had, a while ago, as a radio promotions person. And, you're like, so, and you have to lift 450. I've made that decision. Who cares? You just promote it. Well, no, I lifted, I hoisted, I moved around, I got under things, I got over things. I had to drive vehicles that were too big for the roads that I was driving them on. 99.7 The Blitz, who I worked for 2.5 years, maybe, before I think that was the first job where I was ever laid off. So, of course, September the 11th was yesterday. That impacted radio, and the impact is still felt today. And I have friends in radio still. I still respect radio. I still enjoy it. It was a wonderful time in my life. I know that I was exploited to hell and back because of my eagerness to do everything and work and be put through my paces to see what I can do. And in the end, I discovered promotions was not so much what I enjoyed, but the production and the producing and the working with audio and making things and building things and taking piles of music and words and sound effects and putting them all together and presenting something that someone else was like, holy cow, that's wonderful. That was my bag. That meant a lot to me. I enjoyed that thoroughly. Ooh, look at the nice bed on that. That's a good grind on that coffee, I think. Didn't pass through too quickly. Still dripping. We're going to make this a 4, whether it likes it or not. 4 minutes, okay. That was my passion. That was my joy. That was, that's part of my psyche. A big part of what brings me joy is seeing something finished. A lot of the jobs that I've had since leaving radio have been I don't get to see the end, and therefore they have been depressing and frustrating and just things that I've not wanted to have a career in because there's just no end. There's no end to it. So you're the process. You're part of the process. You're not part of the beginning, the middle, and the end. You're just in the middle with the process. And yeah, it's a little depressing for me. I don't enjoy that. And there are very few jobs out there that I can potentially do that have a beginning and a middle and an end that one person sees. So radio is one of those jobs because of all of the production that you have to do. Yeah, so and 9/11 happened, and there was almost an entire month where no one would do anything. Nobody wanted to go out, or nobody wanted to facilitate people to go out. And I think that was a mistake, personally. I know that we all wanted to take a break and digest stuff, but if today's any indication, they could have started stuff up 5 days later, and I think we would have recovered just fine. But because we took that extra time, it got harder and harder and harder to convince venues and businesses and entertainers, what the importance of radio is, because people started coming back, and they weren't, and a lot of people decided that they didn't want to advertise, so they had to start cutting costs. And I was one of those, but at the time, it was just a lot of different factors around that time just caused a mini collapse in a lot of the entertainment industry. 2008 was worse. A lot of people lost their jobs in 2008 because of that whole economic collapse. But there was a mini one, in 2001, 2002. there was a mini collapse for the entertainment industry, and especially for radio stations. TV is still a medium where, at that time, where you can still visualize, and it's where you got most of your information. Now, if that were to happen, I think that would have a hard time coming back too, because the internet is so much more important for people's day-to-day information. I don't listen to the radio because I have cats. No, because I have Amazon Music. I don't watch live TV because I've got Amazon and Netflix and Max. So I've got entertainment. 'Cause there's, what is it, Celestial? I forget, because the antenna is basically gone, except for on top of cars, or integrated in the back end of cars. Antennas are basically gone. So, ladies got zoomies. They both kind of do, don't they? What are you doing? I'm monologuing over here. Pour out a little coffee here. You guys using your water thing? I was very proud of that. Such a wonderful coffee smell, and it's just a different taste. And that's because this is Yemeni coffee. It's its own dealio, basically. Cultivated using century-old organic methods, our coffee is handpicked and sun-dried for 45 days. Deeply rooted in coffee history. Yep. So it's a very different taste. It's still coffee. It still tastes like coffee, but there's a whole bunch of other little flavors like floating around in there. You get kind of a strange little nut taste. Wow. Okay. Great. Glad I said that out loud. You get the nice little, since it's a medium roast, you do get a little bit of a chocolate, a darker chocolate taste. It is just a really nice cup of coffee. Someday I'd like to get the $300-400 pound bag of coffee from Hawaii. I don't know about that. Thoughts on I think I want to start a Patreon. I don't know how to do it though. The coffee thing would always go up on YouTube. That would never stop being a YouTube thing. And as regularly as I do it, it would not stop. This is just more for, odd things like, well, maybe I want to make a pie. Maybe I want to see what it's like to, I don't know, make a hamburger. I can make a hamburger, but, I just, look, she's tearing up the feet. She's tearing up the little feet on the bottom of the chair. Look at that. Can you see that? What are you even doing? You're being a goofball. But, just to, I don't even know what this is. I have no idea what this is. It's just something to, because the whole process of getting 1,000 viewers in a world of billions and billions of people, strangely, really difficult. Even when your content's decent, and I think I'd have kind of decent content, it's really difficult. So I thought I'd just try a Patreon and see what happens. I guess I wish I would have thought of it around March and April rather than now. But it just, I don't know. It's just something that I think that I can do. I just need to figure out the content that I would need to do that would make that worthwhile. I can just do it and then put stuff out, and then if people get demanding. It's weird. I don't know. It's weird. I just feel like people get demanding, and it's like your pace is not fast enough for them. It's, I don't know. It's weird. And they tell you that you promised stuff and you didn't really promise anything. And that's the kind of the whole thing is like, I do this for fun, and it would be nice to get paid for doing something you have fun with. Sometimes that happens. I don't know. The minute it becomes a job, it's not going to be fun anymore. Which is why I kind of hesitated on the whole Patreon thing. The minute I'm expected to start cranking out stuff, that just doesn't seem like it's going to be as much fun as me just doing it and having fun doing it. So I don't know. If you have any ideas, let me know. I mean, heck, you know, if I get enough Patreons, I could buy a $300 bag of coffee, have it sent here, and, you know, I drink it, you know, and tell you what I think. And, you know, and then you can do like giveaway stuff where I could like give people a bag of beans, you know, a partial amount for a cup of coffee for people, and then, you know, do that. I mean, I was thinking about that the other day. That'd be kind of fun. I think I would really enjoy that. But yeah, it's just the whole thing, you know. And then the toy stuff. I love doing the toy stuff. I love showing that stuff off and playing with it, and, you know, and stuff. But I've kind of hit a wall with that because, you know, everybody's seen everything. And I've gone as in-depth as I can on certain toys that are interesting. So, and then I've got stuff slowly coming in because I'm still doing the X06 stuff. They're large figures, and I don't know. We'll have to see. But until then, I want to thank you very much for tuning in this morning, this afternoon, this evening, whenever you have your cup of coffee. Let's see. This is QuimeraCoffee.com. I'll put that link in the description. It's delicious. It's a wonderful coffee. It's a different coffee, a lot different than the flavors that I have up there. So give it a try if you get a chance. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. We will talk to you tomorrow, and I will see you sometime. Bye.